Greetings, stowaways. This is a horror one-shot and comes with a content warning for gore and insects. Enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations and welcome to Los Diablos PD, Fast Drugs, Faster Cars and Fastest Orphans, a Flintlocks and Fireballs one-shot.
That title is a car crash.
As part of the hashtag All the Horror event, I am your host and fast drinking, fast driving, fast shooting cop master, who knows, Jason Phelps, and I'm joined, as ever, by Robbie, One Shot Bellekom, Sam, Two Pistols Burned, Dragon, Three Hordes, no last name, and Ellie, Four Sugars Sparrow.
Yay! Mine is the weakest as always.
Yes, we are. Hello.
We have a guest.
Yes, we have
exciting.
a special guest. We are joined by Dragon from PenanceRPG, and as usual for our one shots, we're just going to do a quick pronoun check for players, for those who are freshly joining us and who don't know us yet. So I'm Jason Phelps. I go by he, him. I'll go with Ellie next because you're opposite me.
Ellie Sparrow. I go by she, her, and my character. Should we do character names?
Yeah, let's do character.
My character's name is Detective Jane Leaper, and she also goes by she, her.
Excellent. Robs, do you want to go next?
Yes, I'm Robbie. I use she, they pronouns. My character is Dr. Brooks, known as Pepper, and he uses he pronouns.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Okay. Dragon, would you like to go next, please?
Hello, I'm Dragon. I use she, her pronouns, and my character does as well.
Excellent. And Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam Burns. I go by he, him pronouns, and my character also does. His name is Brian Duncan. Excellent.
All right, then. So, before we actually go in, I'd like to invite you, Dragon, if you want to tell the listeners who've not come here from Penance a little bit, to tell them a little bit about PenanceRPG, please.
Certainly, we use a homebrew setting, mainly fantasy. We do have some. So of course my brain's just gone blank.
No, it's fine. Whenever
That's all right.
Like, can you sell your thing? You're like, no, I don't know what I do. I understand. Just take a second. You're all good.
It's all good.
So you're homebrew.
Hi, so we are Homebrew. We're another actual play podcast. We tend to use very simplified systems. Recently, as part of our Halloween thing and as part of the All the Horror collaboration, we've been running a series of one-shots that have had people from other podcasts, people from movie podcasts, people that are writers or artists, and we will occasionally do some adaptations of printed modules where some of the names stay the same. Maybe the first third of it is familiar, and then it goes off in a completely weird tangent that we somehow find along the way.
So we're unlikely to find the Curse of Strood, for instance. But things may soon go off the beaten path. Excellent.
Yes, our version of Strahd was interesting.
Excellent. So you can check out Penance at PenanceRPG.com, and by searching for the PenanceRPG podcast on all good podcasting platforms, Podbean, iTunes, and all of the rest. And if you'd like to check out Other elements of the All the Horror project, a collaboration of storytellers and podcasts throughout the month of October to tell stories about all the horror.
All of it.
All of it. Then you can look up the hashtag all the horror on Twitter. All right. Unless I've forgotten anything.
No.
Excellent.
I think you're good.
Don't think so.
Then we are ready to delve in. So let's get ready to begin. I'm regretting this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regret that.
This
Sit
may
down to
get
regret.
the final title of this may get changed in post-production.
So Ellie doesn't have an aneurysm
So that
trying
Ellie
to
does
fit
not
it
have
into
an
a tweet.
But for the moment, we're going to begin Los Diablos PD, fast drugs, faster cars, and fastest orphans. This one-shot is a part of All the Horror 2019. All the Horror is a collaboration of podcasters, authors, and entertainment personalities discussing and embracing all things horror. And now, on with the show.
Bloody hell.
So,
Horror.
it's sometime in the 1970s or maybe 80s in the city of Los Diablos. A city of slightly indeterminate location, which sure sounds a lot like a hot, muggy American city, but where the accents are largely British and variants thereof. And which is notably absent of the flagrant sexism, racism and homophobia of the actual 70s and 80s. It's a city of sex, drugs, rock and roll, fast cars and faster food. The four of you are parts of the LDPD, respectively Detective Jane Leaper, Dr. Brooks, aka Pepper, Officer Brian Duncan, a somewhat hard-boiled, although occasionally just hard-toked narcotics officer, frequently frequently in disguise, and Officer Tilly Jones, the team's best driver. You're all sat, standing, or vaguely slouching on a pot plant in front of the furious Captain McMurdo. Captain McMurdo is a large, heavy-set fellow, big bushy moustache, and is currently chewing you out over your last mission. You're a loose cannon! You're a loose cannon, Leaper! I don't like the way that you handled that. Yeah, sure, you might have gotten the drug dealers, but I can't be having you blowing up orphanages!
Sometimes to get the fucking drug dealers, you gotta blow up an orphanage. You wouldn't know, you spend all your time pushing pens behind desks.
And you, Duncan! I get that you thought it would be a wise idea to deputise all those orphans, but giving them explosives? One more stunt like this, and I'm having your badge!
No, not my badge, sir, please.
Still though, at least we did manage to get some... Yeah, this is a wild accent. At least we did manage to get some information. So, Dr. Brooks, you have, if you'd care to read them out, the briefing you prepared.
Yes. I have that somewhere, definitely. It is definitely here.
It's in the message I sent you. Do you want me to
Yeah,
replace it?
I have it. I shut my messages. And this is actually the 70s and 80s. It will take about half an hour to reboot. Right, so Sam, thanks to the intel they recovered on the last mission, we know that Van Diesel, head of the Los Diablos cartel and notorious illegal street racer, is planning to smuggle drugs into the International Orphans Convention to get those orphans all hooked. Don't know how he plans to do it, but it'll be under cover of a street race. So and we need to get hold of an invite and a car and infiltrate that street race. First, we have to attend Sergeant Redshirt Senior's retirement party.
Of course. Sergeant Redshirt has been a long-standing member of this department, and we should all make sure that we give her a solid last day before retirement.
She's definitely earned it. How many years has she been on the force?
Many! Easily 30, the required limit at which you are mandatorily forced to retire under maybe British law. It's kind of hard to say.
Right, well, suppose we'd better go and give her a bit of a send-off then, hadn't we?
Yeah, do the people pleasing, have a few drinks, get it over with.
Yeah, and then back to the whole crime fighting thing.
Yeah, what we're actually, paid to do.
That's enough of your lip!
Plenty more where that came from.
McMurdo essentially shoves you all out and lights up a cigar as he slams the door.
Would you like any sort of description of who we are at all?
And at this point, yes, as you are slammed out of the door, I'd like each of you to introduce your characters to the audience and describe a bit about what you look like and who you are, please. So I'm going to start in the order in which I call people out. So I'll start with Detective Jane Leaper.
I'm not going to lie. I think I'm just going to be blank about this. I look exactly like Jim Hopper from Stranger Things, but a woman. And not like Series
moustache.
1 Jim Hopper, like Series 2 Jim Hopper, where actually Series 3 where he's a little bit like fat and sad looking. Like she's got a little bit of a gut. There are probably some like food stains on her. She's got bags. We couldn't find out what type of hat it is that Jim Hopper wears. It turns out it's custom. It's basically somewhere between a fedora and like a Stetson.
Like a Canadian Mountie hat.
Yeah, one of them. And just big and grumpy looking, big heavy brow.
So each of the characters has 3 good skills or traits and 3 bad skills or traits that grant them advantage or disadvantage in rolling in the incredibly simple D6 based system that we're using for this. So Detective Leaper, what are your strengths?
My strengths are brawling, investigation, and I am trustworthy. People feel like they can trust me.
And your weaknesses?
I am unlikable. I am superstitious. And I am afraid of the dark, which I think is going to do me really well in this horror one-shot.
We promise there will be horror. Dr. Brooks, Pepper.
Yes. So he is pretty much the stereotypical nerd you got in like 70s shows. Bow tie, shirt and trousers, braces, big glasses.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, lots of freckles, which is probably where the nickname comes from. No one knows his actual first name.
No one has cared to find out.
No. Strengths are technology, science, and stealth. He is the resident pathologist, as well as the only one who can work the computer.
The computer dominates one entire wall of the police department. It is a complex array of spinning tapes, small blinking lights. You've heard that it has as much as 2 megabytes of storage capacity.
Oh, God.
I love it.
Weaknesses are firearms of any kind, deception, and lack of courage.
Aww.
Officer Duncan.
Alright, Officer Duncan has sort of almost collar-length brown hair that has grown that length over the long time he spent as an undercover narcotics agent. He has little round sort of steel-rimmed glasses with no glass in them. And he's wearing a sleeveless zigzag knitwear top over the top of a rather wide-collared 1970s style shirt, and of course bell-bottom flares.
Obviously.
Of course.
Yes.
Brian, what are your strengths?
His strengths are deception, infiltration, and hand-to-hand combat.
Speaking
And
of the narcotics department.
Yes. His weaknesses are drugs, insects, and superintendents.
Perfect.
I'm going to say that you... no, we'll come to that as it comes to it. All right, and finally, Officer Tilly Jones.
Tilly is slightly younger than the other members of the team. Is absolutely useless at shooting. Would never get the hang of it. So she decided to concentrate on her driving skills instead.
Mm-hmm.
If she's holding the wheel, someone else can be hanging out the window trying to shoot at people. She is kind of medium height, slender, short black hair. Tends to look relatively inconspicuous, but is very fond of distracting and then being able to ask questions or quietly pilfer some evidence that's sitting behind the suspect's back. So her strengths are the driving, the distraction, and sleight of hand. Her very weak skills are shooting, paperwork, because nobody wants to do lots of paperwork if they can avoid it, and singing. And I am definitely setting myself up for that one. So.
Oh, there we go. Yes, in fact, this is actually the exact occasion for me to use that. So, as you move into the retirement party, you can see all the various cops are gathered around their desks. There's a vaguely cheerful kind of atmosphere, and sat at the centre of it is Sergeant Joanne Redshirt, Senior. A red-headed woman in her late 50s, round from decades of complimentary donuts and coffee eaten on the job. And a couple of desks away, her son, the much younger, meek-looking Officer John Redshirt, Officer Redshirt Jr., is quietly getting a start on a box of 12 donuts himself. A number of donuts have been brought in celebration, and there is generally a jubilant atmosphere. What, if anything, do you guys want to do at this point? If there's anything you'd like to do here?
Just like...
I would like to go unnoticed by everyone around me.
Okay, Dr. Brooks.
I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah, Pepper, make a stealth check with advantage, please. Success and a 4 or up.
That is a 6 and a 4 with
Excellent.
advantage, so that is a success.
You slink into the background, completely unnoticed, avoiding getting picked on by the sort of heavy-set, quite jockey cop Grace. She always likes to cause you trouble, push you into lockers, that sort of thing.
I'd like to wander over to whatever food there is,
Okay.
shove some in my mouth and just shout over at Sergeant Redshirt, "Shan't be missing you, you've been here for ages." Just eat something and be a pain in the arse, really.
Roll an unlikability check with disadvantage to see how well people take that.
Yeah, an unlikability check. That's the most fun. So I take the lowest. It's a 1.
Yeah.
So very badly, I would imagine.
A number of people scowl at you, and Sergeant Redshirt Senior calls back, "I shall be Hey! If there's one thing I won't miss about this job, it'll be your ugly face!"
Sure you weren't looking in the mirror when you saw the ugly face, because I'm looking at one right now.
Sergeant Redshirt stands up, balls her fist. "You want to have a go of it?"
Yeah, go on then.
Alright! Yeah, roll a brawling check.
Why am I starting a fight? This is pointless.
That's a
Why am
retirement.
I doing this? How did this happen? That's a 4.
Okay, you lock. She throws a punch. You catch it. You nut her in the head. She stumbles backwards. She kicks you in the leg, but you manage to slip out of the way and just elbow her down back into a chair.
I press a donut into her hand. Hey, shut up. Enjoy your party. Walk off.
People are getting. There's an ill temper in the room. Dr. Pepper. You notice a delivery man just dressed in ordinary grey sort of mailman clothing push a huge box, just like a large card, sort of, I want to say about 4 foot tall and then like 3 foot by 3 foot wide and long cardboard box. As he pulls the cardboard away like tearaway clothes off a stripper. And inside there is a giant novelty birthday cake.
Oh, is this where the lady jumps out of the cake?
As he steps away, leaving the cake just there, and you can see there's a small note on the top of it in a sealed envelope. At this moment, Pepper, you're the only one who's noticed this.
I'm not going to the cake.
Why did I just have a fight at a retirement party? No one knows.
So,
For atmosphere.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper, you're the only one who's noticed who's noticed the giant cake with the envelope at this point. As people are kind of gathering together, and someone, and I'm going to say it's Grace, the jock cop, sort of swaggers over and calls out to you, Tilly, because she's a dick. Says, "Well, why don't you start us a song of happy retirement?" Because perhaps she's a jolly good fellow. It suddenly occurs to the DM that he has no idea what you sing people at retirement parties.
I think that is it.
Yeah, but she's a jolly good fellow.
Yeah, that would work.
Grace puts her meaty hands on her hips and tries to intimidate you into singing into leading the singing on the retirement song.
Tilly glares at her.
Yeah, go on,
Wow.
sing us a song. I shove a donut in my face.
Sure, if you want me to crack all the glass and mirrors in this place.
Liven it up, go on.
Ooh, Tilly, make a swagger check, so just a straight D6.
5.
Ooh.
The Grace winces a little as she seems to realise that the cost to her ears might not necessarily be worth the embarrassment to you. She seems a little uncertain. However, a number of people do start picking up, for she's a jolly good fellow, she's a jolly good fellow. And as that happens, you notice someone else notices the birthday cake, picks up it's on a little wheelie thing that you can push it forwards. Yes, and starts pushing the giant novelty birthday cake over towards Sergeant Redshirt Senior.
Is the person who delivered it still around?
No, they've gone.
Scarce.
In fact, you didn't even see who delivered it. The only person who did was Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
I think I might step back. Away from the cake.
Danger of someone bursting out of it. It's a good reason to not be nearby.
Okay.
I'm more concerned that the person that's going to jump out of it is going to have a gun.
You all step back.
I step forward, I'm
things
into
you
it.
can conceal in cake.
Okay, you step forwards. The cake it's a delicious 4-tiered cake with pink and blue frosting. It's frosting because it's pseudo-America instead of icing.
How near it am I?
If you want, you can get as close to the cake as you want.
Oh, and nick a bit of icing.
Alright, you scoop up a bit of icing. As you do so, you disturb the card on the top and it flips over. And reading upside down, you see it reads, just in handwriting, "Enjoy your retirement, VD."
Hang on. Is he the drug dealer?
Van Diesel, yes.
Yeah.
The
Either that or they're
notorious street racer.
Either that or they're accusing him of having the clap.
I think Detective Leaper, because you're closest and investigation is a strong skill for you, roll me a check with advantage, please.
Okay. Oh, we dropped a dice. We're going to roll another one. That's a 6.
You suddenly become aware of a ticking coming from the from the birthday cake.
Okay, everybody out. There's a bomb in the cake. Sign VD is in Van
Okay.
Diesel.
Everyone make a jumping out of the way check. I don't think any of you have either advantage or disadvantage to this.
Yeah, so just straight.
Just a straight d6.
2.
Ooh, 5.
4.
3.
Okay, so Dragon and Tilly and Jane, you both take. I'm going to say 2 points of damage as the cake explodes. Everything. There's a moment of chaos as cops are flung back and forth, barely understanding what's going on. Before the smoke starts to clear, and you see that Sergeant Redshirt Senior is no more. There are some tragic moments as everything seems to pass in just a few moments. It's almost as if there's a very quick montage of scene changes as people are brought in and start trying to take control of the situation. You see as Sergeant Redshirt is loaded onto a stretcher and a blanket placed over her form as she's begun to be carried away. I would like everyone to roll me just a check, please.
That's disturbing.
Mystery check.
Was there
1.
not at
3.
least someone like leaning over them, going, "No!"
Oh yes, in fact, yeah, that is Officer John Redshirt Jr. who kneels down next to the body and goes, "No!"
Everything seems to be in slow motion.
Yeah. What did everyone get for their checks, please?
4.
3.
4.
1.
Okay. Tilly and Brian, as everything is being taken, as the body is being taken away on the stretcher, the world seems to flicker for a moment, and it's not a body on a stretcher. It's the loud, bright Technicolor office goes, and you see Officer Redshirt's body being dragged along a cold, dark, industrial corridor. You glance up, trying to see what's there. And just as you almost catch a glimpse of the thing doing the dragging, everything flickers again and returns to normal. Your awareness is now at 1. For the
What?
2 of you only.
What is this?
What?
You kind of blink for a few moments, but the next few hours pass in a daze as you prepare to to get hold of an invite to the illegal street race and a flash car. Not just any flash car, though. You need to get hold of the flashiest. So, the 4 of you find yourselves at your planning desk. It's a wide desk. There's maps of the city, various things.
Bits of
pointed
string,
around.
like pinning
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like. I think actually this is a point. I'm going to open this up to you. So you know that you need to get hold of an invite. You need to get hold of a flash car to take part in the race tonight. What are your strategies?
Well, my Cortina's not going to cut it.
What was that?
I said my Cortina's not going to cut it.
Probably not, love, no.
Have any cars been confiscated recently?
Oh, that is a good point. Roll me a paperwork check, Tilly.
Oh no! I can check the database.
You can roll me a tech check, though.
Oh, goddamn disadvantage. 6 and 2.
Oh,
hun.
you feel like there was one, but it's buried in the records, and you cannot be asked to. After checking the first 4 on the top, you just slam the stack down.
I don't have the patience for this.
Am I right to check the database?
You're right to check the database. While you're checking the database, does anyone else have anything else they want to try as well?
I am trustworthy.
Okay.
Is there anybody that trusts me that I could get an invitation off or a car? Or can I use my trustworthy skills for something?
That would be useful close up in a negotiation,
Okay.
but you don't have
Alright.
the connections.
Fair.
I've got an idea. On that note, actually, have I, in my long time undercover, made any connections in the criminal underworld that might be able to supply us?
Yeah,
this,
so
set
can I
car or
have you
invite?
give me an infiltration check at the same time as the tech check is happening from Pepper?
Okay, cool.
Tech. Ooh, got a 6 on the tech.
Excellent.
Double 5.
All right. You're thinking it through, and then actually, no. You did hear that the drug lord Cosimo the medic was likely to was on the. Yeah, you knew they'd been invited to some sort of big deal by Van Diesel. This could be just the right thing. At the same time, though, you, Dr. Pepper, find in the records, looking through that. Wait a minute, Cosimo's Lamborghini. Because I'm not going to get into real car names because I don't know real cars. That sounds a lot. At this point, I might as well just call it. What's the really cheap drink? Lamborghini. Yeah, it's just the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Cosimo's Lamborghini. Lamborghini XL.
Oh, the XL version, pushing the
It's a
boat out.
sports car. I'm sure.
Wider, boring.
Yeah. It's due in for its MOT at Jetson's Mechanics.
Love it.
So you
Well,
have.
we can probably steal that because we're the police, so it won't count. Is that?
That's
Am I remembering this right?
that's definitely how it works. We can
That's
just
exactly.
we can go in. We can go. We're commandeering the vehicle. They've just got to fucking get over it, really.
All right, scene change. And you all find that you've travelled to the edge of Jetson's Mechanics. It's a wide open sort of automotive workshop. Wow, I do not know how things work.
You have no idea about cars, do you?
I'm
At all?
not about cars
You're doing
or
good so far.
street racing. There are a number of cars, including. Actually, I would like Brian to just roll me a straight luck check on a d6, please,
Okay. 2.
including your Cortina,
Oh, for fuck's sake!
which you happen to have brought in for your own MOT the previous day. It's still being worked on. It's up on Jack's at the moment, but you can see they're just polishing off, giving a wax to the flashiest car in the lot, and you can tell it's flashy because not only is it a Lamborghini XL, it's got a big old racing stripe down the middle to give it extra speed and flames.
That means it's really fast.
Excellent.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Good data collecting. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Because okay,
I am 300% sure.
That's not. Never mind.
Let's just find the keys and I can drive it.
Okay. Who wants to go sneak around and see if they can get hold of the keys? And actually, or indeed, what means do you want to use to try and get hold of the keys?
Can I search with my investigating?
You can. So you're kind of gonna go around and.
Is there I'm picturing that there must be
there are
an
mechanics
office where they
around.
keep all the
There's
keys.
an office where they've got. You can see there's a board full of keys.
Hey,
but there's someone
Brian,
there.
you're good at getting into places when they're locked, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been known to.
If you get in, I'll have a look.
Alright, hang on. And he opens up his wallet and gets out various different credit cards and starts trying to jimmy the lock because we're in the 1970s and that works.
Yeah. Give me a.
Infiltration?
Yeah, I'll say this counts as infiltration, just about.
I was hoping it was you that had infiltration. I thought it was.
Yeah.
So you start jimmying the lock.
That's a 6.
Okay, you jack the car, and with a 6, I'll say that.
This for a police officer.
Yeah, and I'll say that you also with that 6 can just crack open the bit underneath where the wheel is, where the wires are, and do the hot wiring. And I don't know how that works, but you do.
Yeah.
You don't need to if you have the key.
That's not the reason we're getting in.
You just do it anyway.
Cool, it's just hot wiring.
So.
Is there anyone watching or anyone around?
So there's a couple of mechanics who've been working on things, and one of them comes out from underneath your cortina, Brian, having just done some work, and they're muttering to themselves, "Oh no, that's going to cost them, especially with it. That's it's a piece of crap. It's absolutely going to fall apart at the first. Hold up a minute! What are all you doing, standing around that Lamborghini?"
Distraction!
Anyone have
Don't
distraction?
worry, it's all fine. We're needing to commandeer this for an evening. It will be back tomorrow without a scratch on it.
Okay, it sounds like you're trying to be kind of diplomatic here, so just a straight check, please. Because this isn't exactly a distraction.
5.
Okay, they kind of,
Badge.
as you flash your badge, they kind of frown and they, I don't know, seems reasonable. At this point, though, you look and you see 4 figures turn round the corner, slicked back black hair with pomade in it, all wearing Hawaiian shirts and sunglasses. Brian, you recognise the form of Cosimo the Medic, the drug lord. They deal in all of the drugs. A, K, C, P, Q.
He cannot be seen.
Okay. So you're gonna... actually, can I have a stealth or hiding or equivalent check from everyone, please?
Cool.
2.
6.
6.
Okay. Brian, what is your undercover name?
His undercover... Well, he would have many, but I think the one that he used for Cosimo would be Jimmy Schwab.
Yeah, okay, so you're Jimmy Schwab. So at the moment that's happening... So the 3 of you... Okay, so the rest of you managed to hide. Where do you want to hide? Your options include behind a nearby car, under or behind this car, or in the back seat of this car.
Backseat. It's the worst idea.
Okay, Dr. Pepper, you leap into the back seat of the car.
I will go behind the car.
Okay, you're hiding... Detective Leaper, you're behind the car. And Officer Jones.
I will actually go and stand with the mechanic.
Okay, by the mechanics. Yeah, you just sort of blend in. However, Brian, as you're trying to hide, sort of looking around suddenly for a place now that all the good places just got taken, you hear Cosimo go, "Hey, Jimmy, what are you doing with my car?"
Oh, well, I was just coming to pick it up for you, boss.
Make a deception check. I'm just saying, this is... Yeah, no, you got advantage.
This is so dumb. That's a 6!
Immediately,
deserve
Cosmo, and you can see some of his men have all been reaching for guns hidden in their Hawaiian shirts. They all relax, like, well, I knew I sent someone to go pick it up, but it's fine, we're here now. Why don't you come for a ride with me, Jimmy?
Shit.
He and the others start approaching the car proper.
Is
Okay.
the car now open?
The car is now open.
Can I get into the front seat subtly?
I mean, I'm going to ask you for a stealth check because they are now they're about to go and enter the car themselves. If you want to try and get in there before them, go for it.
This is 5.
Okay. Okay, with a 5, you just managed to slip into the front seat of the car before Cosmo and the others can get to it. I'll say that, Brian, you're standing by the front passenger door. It's currently open. Pepper, you're in the back. Until you just see
With my regrets.
with your regrets, and Tilly, you can just see the others are all now in or by the car as Cosmo comes forward. Hey, where are my keys?
I'm going to open the passenger door. By the way, how dead am I if I refuse this guy's offer of going for a drive with him?
Fairly dead.
Right, okay. So I'm going to open the passenger door and go, "Hey, what are you doing with the boss's car?" Very, very loudly, and then under my breath going, "Go, go, go! Now, now!"
Cosmo leans down and puts his head just inside where the open door is.
Can
to
I
peer
pull
in.
him in?
Yes, give me a brawling check.
That's 5.
Okay, roll. Yeah,
I do get advantage if it's a
Oh,
strength.
you do,
don't I?
yeah. So
okay.
you pull him in and you smack his head against the top of the car roof as he goes in.
And I want to close the door behind him.
Okay, you're going to close the door behind him. Brian, do you want to get into the car as this is happening?
Yes.
Okay, you leap in, slam the door behind, and so now it's Pepper in the back seat, Jane in the front seat, struggling. You're currently locked in a brawl with Cosmo. Brian, you're in the passenger seat, the front passenger seat. Tilly, you're with the mechanics, just possibly watching in horror. What do you guys all want to do? Because at this point, the Hawaiian shirt-wearing drug dealers are all start drawing their guns.
Can I get...
I'm going to have to draw my gun.
Oh, no!
Yeah, enjoy your own.
Hilariously,
Yeah.
in a role reversal of me and Tilly, what I want to do is drive the car over to her.
Okay,
so we're doing each other's skills.
Okay, so I want you to give me 2 checks, Jane. I want a brawling check because Cosmo's going to attack you.
I assist Jane at all.
Yeah, you can
Hang on,
make
is
your
this
own
like
hand-to-hand
another
check.
drug dealer that I'm in a brawl with? I'm
Yeah,
confused.
so you're no, Cosmo's not out for the count. He's still, you've pulled him in to the car. He's trying to fight you.
Oh, can I try and kick him out of the car and then...
Oh, right, you
Is
want to
that
try.
allowed?
In which case, it'll be that or driving. So if you want to try and get him out the window, you can with another brawling
No,
check.
I'll keep him in and drive. That's
Okay,
funnier.
so give me a brawling check
Told him later.
for the purposes of resisting Cosmo trying to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And can I have a hand-to-hand check from Brian as well?
Okay.
So brawling is
Yeah,
what you want
Tilly's going to be shooting. Dr. Pepper, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna roll a courage check and just see if
Yes!
I'm doing anything. Oh, I am! I got 2 successes.
Excellent!
Hey.
Nice.
What do you want to do?
Do I have any sort of medical stuff on me?
Just roll a
Being an actual doctor.
roll a d6 for luck.
1. No.
You have a stethoscope.
And I will try and throttle him with the stethoscope.
Okay, give me. Yeah, you've made your courage check, so just a straight brawling sort of attack. Okay, so
Three.
you ineffectually try to strangle
I
Cosimo.
will make my brawling. Well, I got a
Brawling
5
rolls.
on brawling.
Okay, you fend off Cosimo's
6.
attempts to beat the shit out of you. You manage to slam Cosimo's head into the front of into the wheel, so they so immediately roll. Actually, you know what? Roll a d6.
Okay. I'm imagining like.
I didn't actually say who, but I noticed that you did roll, and you rolled. What did you roll?
The 3.
a 3.
You looked at me when you said it.
Sorry,
was
I did
confused.
mean Sam.
That's all right.
Sam, what was your roll?
I could have rolled for
Okay,
nothing.
so my roll for that was a 2.
Yeah. So the airbag immediately blows out and smacks Cosimo into your face. And you, as you now make the driving check, please. And I'm going to say because of the airbag, you would do it at disadvantage.
Cool.
While that's happening, Tilly, make a shooting check.
I got double 1s.
Okay.
So this is going to go well.
So Tilly, you make a shooting check, please.
2.
Okay, you
Oh, man.
you fire at the two officers. No one manages to the two not officers the 3 others drug dealers. Your shots miss. They fire back. One of the shots clips your shoulder. You take a point of damage because we're in a magical world where gunshots only do 1 point of damage. More importantly, however, Jane reverses the car straight into you.
No, I'm sorry.
You get the back seat the boot pops open as it smacks you in the gut, and you slump into it. You take another point of damage,
You can't kill the guest in the first 5 minutes, Jason.
and at that point, you hear someone call out, "I'll save you!" And all of you look, and you see as Officer Redshirt Jr. runs onto the scene, screams, starts firing shots at the bad guys, who turn and fire at him, and he's immediately riddled with bullets
Oh, no.
and slumps to the ground. I'd like everyone to make another check, D6 check, please.
Well, he wasn't 2 days from retirement.
3.
1.
1.
5.
Oh.
Okay, so as this is all going on, Tilly, you kind of glance up at the ridiculous at the scene of horror, and again, everything flickers. Images, a dark industrial chamber all around you. You're looking at it from a raised position. There's faint, cold light illuminating it, but it is faint. The light strips are covered. A dark fungus or something similar is growing on the walls and the ceiling, obscuring most of the light. Motes of spores or something just filter flowing through the air. You twist your head downwards. You're on the wall. You're suspended from the wall. Some sort of crust of the same black fungus and what looked like just plates of thick black chitin are pressing you, holding you in place. You twist your head to the side. You see your companions, Pepper, Brian, Jane, all pressed against the wall in these sacks, their heads lolled, their eyes vacant. 2 sacks nearby look to have been recently broken open, and as you lower your head along, you see you hear a and there's a flooding of more light, and everything, all of the lights though, flicker. Darkness vague illumination, something drags the pale form of what looks like Officer Redshirt Jr., but he's not in a police uniform. He's in some sort of grey jumpsuit, and it pulls him out of the chamber as the automatic door closes from above. The lights flicker for a moment and then grow a little brighter when the thing passes away. Tilly, what would you like to do?
Can I break free?
How would you like to try and break free? What technique would you like to use to break free?
I'm going to... Well, first of all, I'm going to try just moving. If I can get any purchase in, I can try and break through.
You try wiggling. There's a little bit of movement, but it's like it feels like the chitin plates are holding a lot of it together, but the fungus, it's like trying to move in a sack of wet sand. The sheer bulk makes it difficult. There is some movement, and you could try and get some purchase if you wanted to try and break it with just strength alone.
I think so.
All right.
I don't want to try and shout and wake people up, because then that thing might come back.
All right. It's neither a advantage nor disadvantage for you, so just give me a straight d6, please.
6.
6. You struggle. Pushing. You finally manage to just crack the plate a little, and then a little more, and you shift around, getting your hands in front of you, and it's you know that scene in The Matrix when Neo pushes his way out of the sack, like the little amniotic sack? It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
You force this open, and then you drop to the ground. It's about a 3-foot drop. You cough up thick black mucus stained with blood. There are heavy sounds of industrial fans or movement in the walls. It's hard to tell. But you can see the others now. What do you want to do?
First, I want to check the wound in my shoulder from the bullet. Is it still there?
You glance down. The wound on your shoulder from the bullet isn't there, but there are some... You feel exhausted, and there are wounds and slashes on your body which have only partially healed. You don't know where they came from. You are at 4 hit points.
I want to try and wake up my companions.
Okay, who would you like to try and wake up first, and how would you like to try and do it?
I'll go to Pepper first.
Okay. By the way, your awareness is now set at 3. Okay, you head to Pepper. What would you like to try and do?
I want to see if I can force some of the kitten plates apart. Or actually no, first I'm going to see if I can reach any part that isn't covered by the plates so that I can try and wake them up.
Okay. Yeah, their head, neck is exposed. So, are you just going to try and shake them awake?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Pepper, I'd like you to make a d6 check, please.
2.
You try and shake them awake, but nothing comes of it. You even try slapping them a little along the cheek, but whatever's happening to them, they seem completely out of it. Doesn't.
I'll try and break them free from the wall.
Okay, give me another strength sort of check, please.
2.
You try and pull it, but it seems like the chitin is more solidly attached. You'd need a second pair of hands, maybe.
Okay.
Or a tool or something to wedge them free. You haven't. This room itself is pretty sparse of things, apart from the broken sacks.
Would any of the kitten plates that I managed to escape from, would they help? Would they be strong enough to help?
They might be. I will allow you to make the check again using a chitin plate to try and pry open.
1.
The chitin plate snaps. I'll say that you can use them on the others, but it seems that Pepper, at least for the moment, is solidly bound in.
Okay. Then yes, I'll repeat the process on the others.
So, are you going to try and awaken them first?
Yes.
Okay, so can I have... Brian, can I have a check from you? And Jane, can I have a check from you, please?
Yep.
2.
4.
Okay. Brian. And here is where I need to slip back for a moment into reality.
You say reality.
Brian, you're struggling. You just managed to smack Cosimo's face into the airbag. He clumps into unconsciousness, and you force him out of the window. As you do so, you feel his hand slaps you hard as he goes out. And there's a moment where you blink, and the colour drains from everything.
Oh no, they've slipped me a bee.
You blearily open your eyes. You're half in, half out of consciousness, and you see a cold industrial room in front of you, and what appears to be Tilly, but not wearing a police uniform, some sort of grey jumpsuit, and they're using a huge piece of what looks like insect to try and crack you free. I would, under the circumstances, I want you to give me a phobia against insects check, please.
Okay.
Oh no.
2.
You start screaming.
No! No!
Yeah, Tilly. Brian seems to be awake. What do you want to do?
Can I reach up to cover his mouth? Or is he too high for that?
Yes, you can. You don't need to check for that. You just force your hand over his mouth. Everything goes... apart from the muffling, you're aware of the silence of the room again. And how much of a contrast that was from the sound.
Brian, look at me. Look at me. Quiet. You have to be quiet. It's our only chance, okay? Okay, I take my hand off of his mouth.
What the fuck?
I have no idea, but we're here. And when I got here, or when I woke up here, or whatever it is, young Redshirt was being dragged off by something, and I don't want it to come back. So we need to be quiet.
Okay, Jesus.
Right, let's try and break you out of that. And we'll try and get the others as well.
How the fuck did we get here?
Did you?
The lights flicker.
Oh crap! Is there anywhere to hide in this room?
There are some what look like broken computer panels or some kind that stick out from the wall. There is of course also the detritus of the collapsed sacks that you could try and hide under.
Brian, look unconscious.
Okay.
And I'm going to run over and hide in one of the collapsed egg sacs.
Okay, give me a hiding check, please, Tilly. Just a straight D6. Brian, I'd like a deception check, please.
Okay.
4.
Okay, you conceal
4.
yourself. The lights go out. The dim light from elsewhere just gives you the impression of shape, form, something long, many-limbed, just a flash of chitinous plates to it seems to crawl or slither into the room. You feel not breath, but just the passing of wind, Brian, as it moves close to you. You can smell the thick stench of rotting meat. Seems to turn. The door closes. The lights flicker and return.
The fuck was that?
Meanwhile,
Oh God!
back in the real world.
You keep
Stop saying
I
that.
don't believe you.
Okay.
The
you
real
s-
world with the orphan conventions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cosimo's held out of the door. You hear the sound of the rear boot cover just slams closed on Tilly, and panicking, you slam your foot down on the brakes. The accelerator.
I do that thing that people do in cop shows where they start driving a car really fast and they just scream for no reason. They just go ah for like no apparent particular reason at all.
Brian is just sort of looks just terrified by the situation, just gripping the side of his seat as you charge forwards. Oh no, neither of you have awareness markers, so
No, I've got
neither of
nothing.
you notice how nonsensical the scene change is as everything transitions to the start of the race. As you just have a quick cut to the start of the race, and you know instinctively that you drove here, you made preparations, you got ready for the race to begin. And
Tilly, this is your territory. You got to drive.
you glance over. Tilly is looking a little distracted.
Tilly, you there? How does this work? Like I have questions.
Yeah. So as this is happening in the real world.
Stop saying that about every world.
Tilly, you glance up as you finish getting Brian out of the sack, and you see Jane murmur, Tilly, this is your territory.
Oh, there's my territory.
How did
What-
we even
what-
get here?
I was wounded, and then I was here. But it was weird. Before the cake blew up, or just after that, I saw flickers that looked a bit like these walls.
Yeah. I thought I was just having a flashback. Okay.
I don't know how to get the others out. I don't know if we should be getting them out to here.
You hear me murmur, we've got to win this illegal race.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Somewhere else, Pepper and Jane are both getting ready for the big race.
Alright.
So you guys can talk.
We can't be having a shared hallucination this vivid, can we?
I don't think so.
Like, I sort of put my hand on your shoulder and like check you're still solid.
Seems pretty solid.
Let's try and get the other two out.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
I'm going to say,
Because-
with both of you working at it, you're able to pry the pair of them loose. I'd like Pepper and Jane to both give me just a d6 check, please.
6.
1!
6.
Oh,
Okay,
1 from
Pepper
Pepper.
slumps forwards and sort of stands zombie-like and doesn't really respond. Jane, as you're getting ready for the big race, you blink, and there's a moment where you see the others standing around you in some sort of cold kind of industrial place. And then you blink again, and you're back at the race, and they're ready for
I assume I'm shouting at Tilly for not driving and getting ready to do it
yeah,
my damn
you're,
self.
Yeah, you're in the car. You've gotten into place. You're getting ready, and you can hear them calling out, "All right, we're gonna start the race now!" And there's a gunshot, and you start racing ahead. So you are 1 foot in one world, 1 foot in another at this point, Jane.
I'm doing that thing that people do in films where they do like the child driving, where you move the wheel way more than you ever need to
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
actually
Yeah.
drive.
So I'm going to slip periodically between these. Pepper, you are entirely in the racing world. So I'm actually going to. I'm going to slip back to the race to the cold world for a bit, but I may return to the racing world periodically. For the moment, though, Pepper, you kind of are following them. You'll follow them and you act. But I'm going to present you scenarios, both of you scenarios, within the context of the racing world that will inform your reactions
No,
in
that's
the
so
cold
fun.
world.
Okay.
So, the 4 of you are now out of the casings.
Right.
You head up to the door, there's a simple touchpad. It leads out into a dark, almost an atrium. It's like
Is it, a sort of,
sorry, go on.
is it a sort of touchpad that like a scary insectoid man would use?
No, it feels familiar to you. It just has a simple, It's exactly like the little arrows you get on the open door button for lifts or the tube or something. And
Okay.
as you press it, the door lifts up and light comes in. But it's not. It's part of it's the dim artificial light, but part of it's a very different light. As it opens up into a large sort of atrium or communal area, you can see there are tables arranged, desks with dully glowing or just dark pads here and there. You see little flickers of touch screens, but everything is covered in this thick, dark fungus. And while here and there light strips do give a dull white light, the majority of the light comes from the huge glass screen or shield in front of you, beyond which you can see just the curve of a vast orange gas giant and its rings stretching out as nearby small, just, or maybe huge but distant chunks of rock and ice are suspended in this space around it. And the light you're getting is just the light reflected off the planet by whatever star.
Alright, I'm officially freaked out now.
You just hear Jane go, faster, and like make a vague steering wheel motion very loosely in midair.
I'd like to do an awareness check to see if I can, mostly to see if I can do, like, just check if there's anything like immediately about to try and eat us.
All right, yes, you do a looking around check, but actually that's a good point. The revelation of this, I'm going to say, will trigger another awareness check from Dr. Pepper on this occasion because of their real role.
Oh dear. Well, that's on the floor. Oh, it was a 6, but never mind.
I'm going to say it
Floor,
counts.
It doesn't count.
So, as you're kind of in the back of this car, glancing backwards as
Horrified.
yeah, you're busy in this hard race as Leapers at the front trying to keep up with the cars. You're kind of peering through, trying to figure out which one has the hidden compartment with the drugs in, ready to be taken to the orphanage ball. Just as you glance out, you see something reflected in the back of a mirror. It's stars or something, and you blink, and in front of you there's a vast screen and darkness around, and you know this place. This was your job. This is what you were sent here to. The world flickers, and that's the car. That's got to be the car with the hidden drugs. So
Activate the device.
you are now halfway between worlds as Leaper is.
Basically Hopper, let's be honest.
Let's be honest. So yeah, Tilly, can I ask for you were looking around?
Yes. 5.
5. There's no sign of glancing around. There's no sign of the creature. There's no flickering lights, but there are signs that the creature has been here. All around are bodies, human bodies in grey jumpsuits. Their rib cages cracked and split open, the organs within devoured, covered in black fungus. There's a thick miasma of spores in the air. And you can just see in the distance, on the far side of the chamber, a single blinking green light. Beep, beep, beep. By some sort of large black screen. And actually with the 5, I'll say you also find a few other things glancing around. There's, on one wall, you see a square box marked with a green plus. And nearby you can see by one of the bodies is some sort of... It just looks to be a heavy spanner or wrench of some description.
Would like to go and pick up the wrench, and on the basis that the box with the green plus might just be first aid, I'll see if I can open that.
You easily collect and open the medkit. The medkit can bring you back up to 3 hit points if you are at less than 3 hit points.
Okay, that is useful to have.
While wielding the wrench, a character using it does 1d6 damage with hand-to-hand or melee or brawling type skills.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, who's got brawling skills?
I have, but I'm not here, so I might not be the best person. I'm still driving the car.
I'm activating an imaginary device.
You watch as Pepper zombie walks straight over to the screen with the blinking green light. Pepper, I'd like you to make a tech check for me, please.
6.
You press the little green light and a flickering screen comes into
To
existence.
save the orphans.
As you watch as Pepper, again, zombie-like, clicks through different menus. There's just a bit of audio static. Last chance we have. Where it came from, but armory or the pods. It's the only escape. And the message repeats a few times before Pepper springs there. Before Pepper just stands there. Pepper, you've managed to activate the device.
Yes.
I feel like I'd be trying to pull them back into the car and drive away with them.
Yeah, you pull them back and
Sorry,
try to
him.
drive them away. No, as that's how. Actually, no. As that's if you're going to try to do that, give me a brawling check, please.
Okay. 2.
You run over and you try to get hold of Pepper. You reach back and try to get hold of Pepper, but you
Like once the device is activated, I'm wanting to get away.
Yeah, you're kind of slipping. The car is veering off to one side. You bang your head on the rearview mirror. Leaper stumbles over and tries to grab hold of Pepper, but misses and smacks their head against the casing of the computer. You take 1 point of damage, so you're down to 3. Although, because of the way it works in the real world, you're actually at 4. And
So
give me an
I'm at
awareness
4
check.
in the
You're at
dark world?
You're at 4 in the dark world, so give me a cold check. Sorry, give me an awareness check, please. So just a straight D6.
Okay. 5.
You blink. You're somewhere cold and dark. There's a giant screen with a planet, and the others, and you can see the others are picking up a wrench and and what looks like some sort of med kit. Pepper is standing and staring at a screen, playing a repeating message. You've no idea what's going on.
Okay, what the fuck is this?
I don't know. You can see this, right?
Have
we're
we
not
been
crazy.
spiked?
That's what I
No.
thought, but I'm really not so sure anymore.
When I woke up here, there was something dragging, like Red Shirt Junior away with it,
But
and you were all
he got shot,
encased
didn't
in
he?
like insect pods.
Insect pods? What the bloody hell are you talking about?
Seriously, something really weird is going on here.
You look down. You're in a grey jumpsuit, just covered in some sort of thick black slime.
But we were in a car, we were racing.
You were. I was here before you left the garage.
But
Was I still with you?
yeah,
Could you
I
see
mean,
that
you
I
were
was with you?
being a bit weird. You didn't want to drive. You were all distracted or something, but you were there, like a second ago.
Oh, this is so weird.
The lights begin to flicker.
I jump.
Oh no.
Oh, we've got to hide.
Hide.
Okay, you're
Hide.
all hiding.
How dark is it?
Yeah, and it is dark, and it's going
I'm
to get
bad at
darker.
dark.
So as this is happening, so you guys are all trying to hide, but under the circumstances, I need a fear of darkness check from Leaper. I need a drugs check from Brian.
Is
in
it
your
with
panic-
disadvantage?
With disadvantage, as you breathe in more of the spores.
1.
3.
Okay. Brian, now give me a hiding check. And can I have a hiding check from Tilly, and with a 1? Yeah, Jane, you just freeze.
I lock.
4.
Okay.
Yeah, heavy breathing, just rooted to the spot. Wide eyes.
Tilly, you hide under one of the tables. Brian, as you're running to hide, you breathe in, and the world shudders for a moment, and you're in the car. There's a gunfight in progress as you're firing your pistol out of the car door, the car window. You're engaged in a race as the cars are now rocketing towards the orphanage ball. At the same time as that happens, however, you try and seize hold of the wheel and drive it away, but pulling up in an even more souped up Lamborghini XXL. You see Van Diesel with a bazooka start to appear. Pepper, Pepper, you see the car coming up with Van Diesel appearing. What do you want to do?
I'm going to take the other device that I have and try and attach it to his car to power it down.
Make a tech check, please.
5?
Okay, we'll come back to that. So, as this is happening, Brian, you're trying to pull out of the way when Van Diesel appears, and then flickering back. Jane, you're paralyzed in place as the lights flicker. They go dark. Everything goes dark, save for the dim light reflected from the planet's surface. One of the doors begins to open, and something begins to slither out, long, segmented, with it has a chitinous back, but the limbs aren't insect limbs. They're like feathered feelers dripping with slime. And it raises a many-moored head. As you watch as behind it, almost unseen, the form of Pepper absent-mindedly clicks on the panel, and the door comes right back down, smacking into the back of the creature. I'd like you to roll me a d6, please, for damage.
Okay, 3.
Okay, you do 3 points of damage to the creature, and it momentarily traps it in place, and you hear a from it. As that's happening, it snaps you out of the moment of paralysis, Leaper, which is good because you'd die otherwise. And and you can. So you have for those of you in the real world, you have or the cold world at least, you have a moment of grace where you see the creature temporarily halted. Pepper seems to be waiting by the panel still. Brian is hiding ineffectually under a table, very obviously in view. So, at the same time, back in the gunfight world, you watch as Van Diesel prepares to the bald, muscled form of Van Diesel prepares to fire a bazooka out, but the technological device shoots out and seems to stall the car for a few moments. Still, though, it can't be long before he starts catching up. You watch as he flicks the bazooka ready to fire. Pepper and Brian, what do you guys want to do?
I would like to try and hook the power of the car up to the device to make it more powerful to drain his battery completely.
Okay. This is complex enough that I want to... This is a tech check with a just straight roll, please.
Okay. Well, 2.
2, okay. So you're trying to focus on that. Brian, what do you want to do?
I'm not good at shooting, but can I try and shoot the bazooka so it goes off?
You certainly can. For the purposes of this, I would like you to give me a hand-to-hand check and I need to check, was it you or Tilly that had the wrench?
I think it was me.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's very good to know. Hand-to-hand check, please.
Right, okay.
As you fire your gun at the bazooka.
4.
Excellent. Roll me a d6, please.
Okay. 3.
Okay. As you fire the shot, the bazooka explodes. It drives the car. Van Diesel. It's hard to say whether he's actually been injured, but the car veers off to one side and crashes into a lamppost. You watch as he staggers out and signals down another car as you begin driving away. Back in the cold world, you watch. So you see Pepper begin plugging more things into the computer. You watch as Brian just gets up, grabs the wrench, and charges at the horrifying monster, swinging for one of its mandibles. Its many mandibles, and actually managing to strike and break one of them off. The creature rears back for a moment and tries to tug itself out of the door. You watch as the door grinds as it tries to go down deeper and segment it, but it pushes up and the door mechanism cracks and breaks.
Shit.
Jane and Tilly, what do you want to do?
Bugger, that door was my whole plan. Damn. What else is there? Is there anything?
Okay,
around?
give me an investigation check.
Yeah, which I get advantage on because it's
You do.
strength. 3, not great.
Okay, glancing around, there's not another decent melee weapon or anything like that, but you do spot in the corner of the screen that Pepper is next to, there is a floor plan of this base. It's hard to say. You can see the atrium where you are, and you see how if you were to head the opposite way, 2 corridors down, there are 2 doors, rooms, one marked escape pods, one marked armory.
Okay.
It looks like you'll have a few bulkheads to run through to get there, but it's...
I was not awake for the message.
So... No, but you...
Yeah.
Although the message has been repeating, actually, since.
Oh my God, what was the wording of the message?
The wording was essentially last chance, escape, armory.
So it could be either.
Yeah,
okay.
It's very hard to say.
How together is Pepper looking?
Pepper is
looking conscious?
zombie-like at this point, although I think with everything that's been going on around them, Pepper, give me an awareness check, please.
I'm really good at these.
Yeah.
4! 4.
Okay, as you try and electrify the car, it doesn't. The machine breaks and the world fades around you, and you're in a cold, dark place. And there is a monster trapped under a door, but it just broke the door. And everyone's wearing grey jumpsuits, and Brian just smacked it in the mouth with a giant wrench.
Okay.
I think... God, I want to try and pull one of them away and run.
Okay.
And I want to, shout, "Run this way, escape pods!" And just, grab the nearest person to me.
Okay, I mean, you're... the nearest people to you, I'm going to say, are either... Honestly, you're fairly equidistant between them. Brian is currently in some sort of melee with the creature, but we'll get to what Brian does in a minute.
Odds for Brian, evens for Tilly.
Yeah.
Tilly. Not Tilly.
Not Tilly, Pepper.
Pepper, sorry.
Okay, you grab
Yeah.
Pepper. Tilly, what do you want
Tilly's
to do?
fine. Tilly's over here with me.
Have the others... Because I don't really know... I don't know that I need to be trying to go to the other side.
I mean, you have heard Jane...
I did say this way,
Yeah.
escape pods.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I will... I think I'm going to head over towards them.
Alright.
Just making sure I've got the med kit.
Okay, you've got the med kit, you've got the rest. So, Pepper, Tilly and Jane, you seem to be running / being dragged towards the far exit. As this is happening, however, Brian, the car, you watch as strangely Jane seems to... There's a ricochet or something. Jane seems to get knocked in the head and slumps forward. The car careens and goes off an inexplicable ramp, smashing into the Grand Orphanage Ball.
No.
Orphans begin running and screaming all around, and you watch, and as you pick yourself out of the rubble, you see the bald, muscular form of Van Diesel emerging with what appears to be, I'm just going to say, an assault rifle.
Oh, no.
What do you want to do, Brian? And just, we're not quite at the point where I'm going to give you another awareness check to try and recover.
Alright, am I still, close to the car?
The car is totaled, I'm going to say, at this point. It's smashed into a grand piano, and the grand piano is heavier.
My point being is I was going to use the car perhaps as cover,
Yes!
because that's how it works in the films. And I'm going to take cover behind the back of the car and try shooting at him.
Okay, so you're going to try and shoot with the car. Alright, so, this is going to be an interesting one. So you don't want to get close, but you still want to try and engage. I'm going to ask you for just a straight check, please.
Okay. 6.
Okay, you run behind the car and you fire a couple of shots. One of them strikes Van Diesel in the shoulder. He stumbles back for a moment, but begins unloading with the assault rifle. The car seems to protect you as it absorbs.
I really hope the petrol tank's on my side.
Yes, as it absorbs all of those bullets in the ways that cars totally do, but definitely don't. The rest of you watch as Brian turns, flees in an astounding display of apparent heroics from the horrifying monster, picks up just something from the ground. It's a moment before you guys realize it's a skull. It's a rotting head, and hurls it at the creature, which bonks off its head and seems to stun it for a moment. Then the monster breaks free of the door and begins pacing forwards. Its 26 long feathery legs,
Oh god.
leaving a coat of slime behind it as it just begins pacing, just racing towards you. I would like everyone to give me a check. I don't think any of you have advantage or disadvantage on this, to just run and get to the next bulkhead.
Ooh, no, that's a 1.
Oh, 3.
4.
Brian?
4.
4. Okay, that's a 1 from Jane, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as the creature, you run, and all of you are running, but Jane, you're still staggering a bit from injuries you've received, and the creature comes up behind you. I'd like you to give me a brawling check, please.
Okay.
Just Jane.
Yeah, me.
Alright. Yeah.
5.
5, alright. You manage... Oh, it also rolled a 5, so I'm going to say that the creature's maw bites down, and you just manage to pull out of the way of it.
I feel like I almost hold it open, like I catch it.
Hold it open, you're holding against it. It's as it looms over you. You can see there are just rows and rows of writhing, sharp-edged teeth-like things down its maw, and you can feel the hot breath of just rotting meat over you. Okay, new round, for want of a better word. So I'm going to do the people in the real world first. Pepper.
What does that even mean anymore?
Yeah, in the cold world, Pepper, Tilly, and I'll do it in order. So of what I've got on the sheet. So Pepper first. Yeah, you can. Yeah, so you've just made it to the door. You can see that Jane appears to be just wrestling the horrifying monster. What do you want to do?
Do I know how this door works? Can I get ready to shut and lock it?
Yes, but a lot of the equipment is damaged, so I'm going to ask you for a tech check, please.
4?
Okay, you get the door open, run to the other side, and it takes and you begin fiddling with the equipment. You think you can get it shut and locked, although the electronics are now a little bit janky from all of the weird organic stuff everywhere. But you're through on the other side. You've got the door open, and you're getting ready to close and lock it. Tilly, what do you want to do?
Going to look round. Is anyone particularly injured?
At this point, the most injured person is... no, actually, surprisingly, you and Jane are both somewhat injured at 4 hit points, but you've not yet sustained enough damage for the medkit to help.
Okay, that's surprising.
I'm shocked.
Yes, we're all surprised.
I'm going to look around for other weapons or possibly even something I can throw
Okay.
to distract the creature.
Okay, you want to try and distract it. I'll say that there's lots of just stuff you can throw and try and distract it. So if you want to just make a distraction check, you glance around. There is a discarded aluminium can, of all things. Someone wasn't recycling. So yeah, throw and try and bonk it with a distraction check, please.
5.
It bonks off the creature's head. There are no eyes that you can see, but it seems to garner its attention for a moment. That will at least impose... it will not have advantage on its check to try and eat Jane on the next turn. Jane, what do you want to do?
Are there any like surfaces that are the same level as my hands that I could bash its head into? Because that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Or just into the floor or wall.
I'll say that there's the lintel of the door. So the automatic door that you're standing next to, you can try and ram it into the head of that just
I want to
above.
smack it into the side of the door.
Okay, I'd like you to make your brawling check. It's going to be opposed by its, but you won't have advantage.
6.
Yeah, it rolled a 2. So you do 2 points of damage to it off the bat because of your brawling specialty as you smack its head momentarily into the lintel of the door frame.
While it's stunned, I would like to run.
And yeah, it being stunned, you let go and you
Please.
run through into the next door. So, Brian, however, you watch as your companions seem to get out their own guns and start firing, or some of them running. Dr. Pepper is fiddling with some sort of machine or mechanical device you don't understand.
The device.
Yeah. But you watch as Jane pulls up a shotgun and fires a shot at Van Diesel, blasting him in the chest. As the wound clears, you can see he seems to be metal underneath.
Oh no.
Some sort of metal endoskeleton under muscular Van Diesel's form. But, however, as Van Diesel tries to fire the assault rifle at Jane, she manages to run back to further cover. What do you want to do, Brian?
Okay, how close is he to me now?
He's pretty close.
Okay, I'm going to...
He's been sort of doing the Terminator thing, walking forwards and firing.
Yeah. I'm going to do an exceedingly silly action film thing.
Yep.
Jump out, try to jump him, and disarm him.
Okay.
Of the assault
Okay, I would like you to make the hand-to-hand check, please.
Okay.
And he is distracted still for this round.
Oh, that's a 3.
Well, he rolled a 2. So
Okay.
he would definitely have rolled higher if it wasn't for the distraction. So you reach forward and
It's not pretty, but I'm just trying to force it round
and you
and
start
get him under the chin.
wrestling with him for the for the assault rifle. You manage to get a good lock on it, trying to tug it out of his grip. You watch as Brian steps forward and again swings the wrench, smacking into the creature's maw. Roll me a d6, Brian.
Okay. That's a 5.
Holy shit! Okay.
You're doing well, mate.
With a smash, several of the mandibles are smacked clear. The creature rears back, shuddering with rage and pain. And you watch as spines begin to stick up all the way down its back. And it turns its attention fully to Brian. Okay, Jane, Tilly, and Dr. Pepper are now on the far side of the door. Down the hallway, you can see there are 2 doors. Lit above them are signs. One says escape pods, one says armory.
Oh god, we don't know which actually is. That's the worst.
So I'm going to go through in arbitrary round order again. Dr. Pepper, what do you want to do?
So it's just Brian that's on the
Just
other
Brian
side.
is on the other side, engaged in a one-on-one fight with a horrifying monster, which, given his fear of insects, he's surprisingly okay with. Honestly, Brian, you not being aware right now is such an advantage for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll a courage check to work out what I
Yeah.
Okay, well I failed that, so I'm gonna shut the door.
No!
The door seals shut and locks.
I mean, it's one-shot tradition. Sam has to
Yeah.
die.
Okay,
Sam always dies in one shot.
it's time for... So, are you gonna...
I am the Sean Bean of one shot.
You
can also-
really are.
You can also try and run. I'll say then that the 2 of you, your actions happen as the door is closing. So there's time should you feel like you want to try and slip under it. Okay, so Tilly, what do you want to do?
Okay, so we're on this side of the door. The door is closed.
Yeah, the door is closing. The monster and Brian are on the far side.
What else is on this?
On this side, glancing back, you can see there's a corridor, and at the end of it are 2 doors. One marked escape pods, one marked armory. The rest of it is essentially a corridor, but there is a heavy fire extinguisher.
Potentially useful.
I might go and grab the fire extinguisher.
Okay, you grab hold of the fire extinguisher. Is there anything else you want to do? You could, or are you gonna take it and wait in the corridor, run for one of the 2 doors, or do something with the almost closed door?
I'm going to assume that my uselessness with guns will probably extend to the fire extinguisher.
Only if you try and use it as a fire extinguisher. Your hand-to-hand ability is entirely normal.
Okay. I will go and try and open the escape pod door.
Okay, you run into the room with the escape pods and open the door into that chamber. I'll describe what you see in a moment when I get to you, but what we see in the escape pod bay. Detective, well, maybe not detective, Jane. You watch as the Pepper closes the door as it starts to go down.
All the way down.
It's not all the way down, it's closing. Tilly grabs hold of the fire extinguisher off the wall and
away.
runs for the escape pod room. Pepper, at this point, I will actually ask if you want to run for either of the rooms or if you're fine in the corridor.
I'm gonna go for the escape
You also
pod.
run over there. Jane,
Is there anything I can throw under the door?
roll me just a luck check.
Yeah. 4.
I will say that there is the casing for the escape. I'll say that there is also a detachable steel casing that used to contain the fire extinguisher, and that would be heavy enough to maybe prop a door open with.
I don't want it to stay open. I'm scared. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna try and prop the door open, assuming that it won't last.
Yeah, okay.
And just like give enough of a gap for a person to crawl under and then run away.
For the sake of convenience, I'm going to say that this is a brawling check, because it's all quite strengthy based.
Yeah, I'm assuming like
Yeah.
that this case doesn't look wildly strong, but just
Yeah,
for like
yeah.
a bit of extra
Like,
time.
it looks like it might hold for a few seconds.
So 4, so it's not
Okay,
amazing.
Managed to get it under the door, just in time for the door to... The steel begins to squeak and groan as the door tries to crush it.
Get out! You don't have long! I run away.
Yeah, you start running as well. So, Brian...
I run to the bit that says escape in
Yeah,
big letters.
you are wrestling with Van Diesel for this assault rifle. He nuts you in the head. You elbow him back. The rifle goes off, firing into the wall, miraculously missing any of the orphans. You glance behind you. You see that the others are running to a fire escape with a heavy steel door that starts closing down. Actually, no, it's a pair of elevator doors. There we go. Elevator, because we're in sort of America. I don't know. Lift doors that are closing, and Jane manages to prop it open with a ruler for a moment that she got from somewhere. Who knows?
Like a primary school.
It's like a wooden primary school
Just
ruler.
like a 30 centimetre one.
It's like
I have questions.
Slender guy.
Or is it like a meter ruler?
it's like it's like a quite a chunky one.
Like a cartoon ruler.
Yeah,
is
like
what
a
you're
cartoon
saying.
ruler. It looks like it's going to snap. You could try and make it for the fire escape elevator doors. Who knows? It's fortunate that this is all a hallucinogenic trip anyway. And the others are certainly trying to make an escape, but maybe you could try and get Van Diesel's weapon off him. What do you want to do?
Ooh, okay. There's still... Well, actually, no. This is a 1970s action film. There is no such thing as changing magazines.
Yeah.
I am going to try and wrestle it off him and run.
Okay, give me one more hand-to-hand check, and then I'm going to ask you for another check to get under the door before it closes.
Okay. That's a 4 for the hand-to-hand.
Oh, with advantage, he rolled a 3.
Wow.
You do manage to wrestle the assault rifle off him.
Like butt into the face.
Yeah, butt into the face.
More metal.
You need another check to get into the lift door before it closes, though.
Okay, running. That's a 6.
Oh, you slip by!
yes!
The ruler snaps as the door seals shut, and the lift begins taking you down to the fire escape. Why is the fire escape down below? This doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
Never use a lift in the fire.
What? Saying the cult world.
Yeah, you guys, you just see as you're running away, glancing back. Brian, you smack the wrench into the creature's mouth one more time. Give me another d6, please.
Okay. 5.
Okay. Holy shit.
What dice are you using, mate? Jesus.
Ooh.
That was that one was the octopus dice. Thank you, Sarah.
Oh.
Okay. You've done a total of 19 points of damage to this thing.
That's insane.
Yeah. It rears back as Brian rolls under the door, kicking out the steel frame as he goes. The door seals shut, and Brian runs after you. Brian, you see the others are as the lift goes down to the bottom. It opens up into a secret underground racing garage bay with a pimped out Lamborghini XXXL ready as a getaway car, and the others begin running around it, getting things ready. Okay, so
They just keep getting bigger.
yeah, they do. It's wide enough to see all of you. You look down. Okay, so as the escape pod bay doors open, you can see that there are a series of escape pods many of them have been cracked and shattered. Some of them are filled with hollowed out bodies with black fungus, but one is still intact, blinking with its little lights inside. And the reason it's intact, it seems, is that the exterior door is locked. However, you can see that there are the panels are glowing inside, and it looks as if there are problems with the mechanical release. So, in order to escape, you'll need to get the mechanical release arm holding the escape pod to release. You'll need to get the pod open to get you into it, and you'll need to activate the launch sequence. What do you guys want to do?
Can I have a look around and see if there's any kind of key anywhere?
Yes, you give me an investigation check. While that's happening, I'll go back in reverse order this time.
That's a 6 from me.
Excellent. To Tilly, what do you want to do?
Okay, so I'm at the loading bay,
Yes.
the escape pods. Right, I will...
As is everyone else now.
Excellent.
In the distance,
What
you can
sort
hear
of mechanism?
Sorry, carry on. So the mechanism is essentially a huge steel arm, just holding on like a mechanical claw that holds onto the escape pod and prevents it from being released when they don't want it released.
Okay. I think the first thing is I'm going to try and lock the door into the bay.
Okay. Sure. I'm going to ask again. The equipment is malfunctioning, so I'm going to ask for a tech check from you as you try and lock the door. At the same time, then, Dr. Pepper.
Can I see a way to unlock this thing?
Actually,
do I know how this
yes,
works?
as you're looking, you see Jane search around, and you find on one of the ruined, rotting bodies is a set of it is an electronic key, a small plastic chip, which you insert into the side of the door. The escape pod door opens.
Okay, we're in.
Can I start working on the launch mechanism?
Yes, you can. I'd like a science check from you, please. So that's to get the launch ready. The clamp is still going to need to get removed.
Well, I can't do anything about
that. So Tilly. So yes.
I rolled a 1. The door.
Okay, so you're trying to close this door, and it just locks open by mistake. Pepper.
I got a 6 for strength.
Okay, you.
To get
Everything starts humming. Lights begin glowing brightly all around you as the escape pod gets ready for the launch. But there's a sort of sound from
Someone
above.
sort that.
Okay, so Brian. Everyone's getting into the car. You watch as Jane as Jane finds the keys, unlocks the car door. Pepper gets in and hotwires the engine. Why? When they have the keys, you're not really sure.
Shotgun.
But Tilly is trying to stop the lift from going back up, but the lift rises up, and you can hear it starting to come back down now. Unfortunately, the big problem is there's a huge yellow clamp on one of the wheels, like one of those classic wheel clamps, stopping the car from driving away. What do you want to do, Brian?
Alright, is there a way I can, disengage the wheel clamp?
Yep, you can try and either... I'm going to ask you either try and just undo the mechanism, or try and just break it by hand with a nearby object. I'll let you do either.
This is a desperate situation. I'm just going to try and break it.
Okay, give me just a straight check.
So is that actually what
just
am
a
I
straight
rolling?
D6. Doesn't affect any of your skills. Actually, no, maybe hand to hand. Yeah, I'll let you use hand to hand, because you are just attacking the damn thing.
Alright, fine. 3. Double
Okay,
3.
you smack. You watch as Brian climbs on top and starts smacking away at the mechanism. He begins to make some leeway into it, but it doesn't get all the way through. the lights, all of the lights flicker as you hear the sound of the far door blasts open, and the creature crawls around the corner and rears up, choosing its target. So right now, Pepper, you're in the escape pod. Tilly, you are near the door. Jane, you're by or possibly in the escape pod, your choice. Brian is on the escape pod trying to get the mechanical clamp undone. And the creature is about to come in and attack. So I'm just going to go through again in... I'll do it in reverse, in the same order I did last time. So I'm going to start with Jane. What do you want to do?
I would like to help try and break the metal arm. Can I use Brawl for this?
Yes, you can.
Is that like I literally just want to yank it and break it with my strength?
There is another. I'll say there's another huge wrench nearby. You pick it up and just try and smack it as well.
Yeah.
So give me a brawl check, please.
5.
Okay, you run up and with a last, you manage to break the metal. There's a rod that is out of place. You bang it out entirely, and the whole thing unclamps. The escape pod begins to lower down slowly, getting ready for the automated launch process, which has begun.
I would like to get into the escape pod.
Yeah, you run into the escape pod at this point. Okay, so you're running into the escape pod. Tilly, what do you want to do?
Get into the escape pod.
So you start running for the escape pod as well. Okay.
Definitely.
You start running for the escape pod, but you are the one nearest the door. And Pepper, you're just you happy in the escape pod where you are? Is there anything else you want to try and do?
I can't control anything else from here, can I?
No, I rolled a luck check and there's not really anything. Nothing that you could really have in here. Unfortunately, you could maybe. I'll say with a good tech check, I'll say that you could maybe control one of the automated docking clamps on another one. It was just this one that was broken. They're essentially just huge mechanical grasping claws.
Alright, let's see if I can do that. 4. So
Okay.
Brilliant.
So you try and grasp it with the mechanical claw. So as this is happening, it pulls to the side and it just manages to avoid it as the claw slams down into the place where the creature was. It slithers to the side. Brian, everyone is racing for the car, those that aren't already in it. Pepper shoots some sort of grappling hook claw thing from a gun you didn't know they had, which misses as the door comes down, as the lift descends. Ding! The doors open, and you see Van Diesel, half his face metal with glowing red eyes, carrying a minigun and getting ready to open fire.
The fuck did they get that from?
The mysterious place from which people get things in
Yes,
films.
yes.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you want to do?
To be fair to Terminator, there is a whole shopping sequence.
There is a whole shopping sequence.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
Brian, what do you want to do?
I want to. If the clamp is off the
Yep.
car now, I am going to get in it and start
Okay.
yelling, "Drive! Get out of here!"
Okay, you're going to race into the car. As that happens,
Yeah.
then, Tilly, you were the closest to the door, and no one came, and no one tried to intervene. So,
I tried.
no one tried to. No one got close enough to present another target.
Oh.
Is what I mean.
I felt like I'd already done too many things to do anything else.
So
I'd
the
already broken the
creature, No, you did. You had to go. You went and got the clamp off. So the creature is going to go for you. Can I ask you for a hand-to-hand check, please? So straight, just a straight check.
6.
6. Oh! You leap
timing.
out of the way as it smashes down to the place you were. You run into the escape pod, closing the door after it, and the whole pod begins to descend down and out on the automated system. The creature runs up, it crawls up to the very edge, but the doors are opening, and the whole bay is suddenly flooded, or rather floods outwards, as the cold vacuum of space begins pulling everything in the bay outside, the fallen bodies, the pieces of equipment, and the creature flying out past the pod into the ice field of one of the rings of the gas giants. There's no sound, but you can all imagine just hearing a final as it floats away. With the soft of machinery, the escape pod begins floating to a safe distance away from the ship, a huge steel mining base built into one of the chunks of ice and metal around this planet. You feel the hum of the engine begin. And the ship and the escape pod launches into fold space, carrying you away to safety. Congratulations. You all somehow managed to survive.
How did none of us die in that situation?
The dice were on our side.
The dice really were on your side.
Dice were kind.
That thing had 20 hit points, by the way.
Uh,
It was that
20
close to
hit
being
points.
killed by the claw as well.
Oh, fuck.
It also, though, did 2d6 damage if it actually ever hit, so it was really likely to just kill people.
I was really worried that we were going to end up killing Dragon at the last minute and the guest would have been the only one to die. That would have felt so sad.
It's
The
not.
last minute is fine.
It's not a Flintlocks
Encounter.
one shot without almost killing the guest.
Yeah, we've actually, no, it really isn't.
With that, thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs and the Los Diablos PD, fair space and natural 20s.